श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. So yesterday we saw कर्म शास्त्रे कुतो ज्ञानम तर्के न एव अस्ति निश्चयः सांख्य योगो भिदापन्नो शाब्दिकाः शब्द तत्पराः. We said how can you gain knowledge through karma, the shastra of karma and the philosophy of karma, and in logic there is no conclusion. And sankhya yoga are split, they are split in deep duality. Okay, and shabdikaha, the grammarians, they are stuck with the word formation, so you will not be able to gain knowledge. See, you have to understand this shloka. We will revisit this shloka again. We say karma shastre kuto jnanam, how can you gain the knowledge through karma shastra? That means the philosophy they establish is not the non-dual philosophy, therefore you cannot gain the knowledge through karma shastra. That does not mean give up the karma shastra. That is not the idea of Bhagavan Bhāshyakara, because Bhagavan Bhāshyakara himself explains in his Beka Chudamani, Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma Natu Vastu Upalabdhaye. Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma Natu Vastu Upalabdhaye. Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma. Karma is for purification of heart. Natu Vastu Upalabdhaye, not to gain the self. So we should have to have very clear idea that we are not interested in gaining the self through karmas. We cannot gain the self through karmas. We have already established that we are performing the karmas for gaining the purity of mind, purity of heart. Just that. So we cannot give up the karmas. Okay. So next. So this is the astika system. So next one is tarke naivasti nishchaya. There is no conclusion in logic. Therefore, there is no point in studying logic. That is not true. Because without logic, you cannot perform inquiry into the self. The manana, which we say, is basically logical debate. You are not doing debate with another person. You are doing debate with yourself. To have something very concrete, to have a clarity, you need to shake that idea. That is what logic does. Here, we are not interested in the philosophy they end up with, because there is no conclusion there. We are interested only in the logical methodology, because logic teaches us clarity, the method to inquire into. So, logic is important. Without logic, you cannot inquire. We cannot go further than the Shravana. Okay, then third is Sankhya Yoga Vidhapanno. The Sankhya and Yoga people are stuck with the Sankhya and Yoga means Sankhya Yoga. The Sankhya Yoga people, they are stuck with the dualities. Purusha Bhautam Siddham, they have established duality, they accept the dualities. So there is no point in going through. But without these Shastra, Shabdika, Shabda Tatparaha, the grammarians, they are stuck with the grammar. Means their method of approach is only with the grammar. That will not give you. That is why Bhagavan Bhāshyakara explains in Bhajagovindam, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukring Karane, the root word, the grammar exposition will not give you liberation. It will not save you. So, all these are with respect to the non-dual teaching and not per se negating, condemning the philosophy, because I have heard from people who are half-baked people. They consider themselves Vedantin without studying even Vedanta proper, and other schools not at all. They have no exposure to other schools. They just study Vedanta. Without the knowledge of the opponent, how can you condemn them? There is no possibility. Because when you study Brahma Sutra, leaving the first two chapters, two padas, two quarters of the first chapter, third, from the second pada itself, it starts condemnation of the Sankhya school. Now, without knowing what the Sankhya fellow says, what his philosophy is, how can you condemn him? Without condemning him, how can you gain clarity? So, Karma Shastra, the Yoga Shastra, or the Sankhya, the Tarka Shastra, they are all not going to lead you to the Brahmagyana, but they are useful. Karma Shastra cleanses your mind through the Japa, etc. Then you have Yoga Shastra, which gives you focus. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha to control the thought function, which gives you focus. And Tarka Shastra helps you in doing the inquiry. So they are not apramanika shastra per se, meaning a philosophy which is a wrong means of knowledge. We are not talking about that. We are not even saying that it is means of wrong knowledge. We are just saying that they don't lead you to the self. That they are useful. Okay, so Shabdika, Shabda also, without understanding what the word is, without understanding the meaning of the word, how can you understand the word meaning and the implied meaning? So all these are useful in their level for aiding us to understand the truth, but they cannot be truth themselves. That is what is explained there. We have to be very sure, very clear about this. Okay. Now, after condemning the Astika Darshana, the people who believe the Vedas to be ultimate proof, valid proof. Now, we come to the Nastika Darshana. Here, he is not wasting his time in Nastika Darshana. He is taking them all in one line. So, now at least here, we had the Sankhya school, Sankhya and Yoga school clubbed, Tarka, the Nyaya and Vaishika clubbed, and your grammarians clubbed together. And you have your Karma Shastra, Purmyamsa. Everyone is taken care of in one shloka. But with respect to the Nastika Darshana, people who don't accept the Vedas to be valid proof, he negates them in one line. He says, anye sarve jñānavārtāsudurlabhāḥ ekaṃ vedāntavijñānaṃ svānubhūtyā virājate. There are two lines in the shloka which we can see, but the first line is the refutation of the Nastika school, people who don't believe in Vedas, who don't trust Vedas, who don't accept Vedas to be valid proof. They are condemned with the first line. The second line is the start of new topic. Okay, we'll come to that later. Anye pāṣaṇḍinaḥ sarve. First, we'll understand the first line, the negation of the refutation of the other schools of logic, philosophy, which is the Nastika school. Okay, anye sarve pāṣaṇḍinaḥ. Anye sarve pāṣaṇḍinaḥ. The other, all the pāṣaṇḍis. That's a beautiful word, pāṣaṇḍi. In Hindi, they use the word called pakhandi. Pakhandi is mispronounced as pakhandi. This is a common error actually. Like we have ladayor abhedat, ralayor abhedat, babhayor abhedat, etc. Ra and da are identify. Some place instead of ra, they'll pronounce da. It will be written da, they'll pronounce it as ra. Okay, so there that is there. And ladayor abhedat, la in ra or la and da, that is also interchanged. Babhayor abhedat. Some places ba and ba is a vivek. Instead of vivek, they'll get vivek. That is also there, common thing. But there is no rule or saying rakayor, shakayor, kashayor abhedat. There is no rule per se. But this is practically done. We can see in North India, when they chant Purusha Sukta, they do, we in South India will be like Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat, and in North India, Sahasra Shirsha Purukhaha, not Purusha. And Shashti, the sixth case, Shashti, there will be a sixth case or sixth day. They will say Kashti. Kashti. When is Kashti? Kashta means trouble. Kashti means when is the pain, trouble. We are not talking about Sashti is replaced with Ka. Sha is replaced with Ka. There are enough references to that interchange there. So, Pakhandi. Okay. What is Pakhandi? Pakhandi means Pakhandi. What does pāṣaṇḍi? No, that is a confusion. If you are going to use synonyms, then that's a problem. Or if you are going to explain the word that it is a mispronounced word, that still it is a problem. Pāṣaṇḍi is a hypocrite. Hypocrite because he does not accept the Vedas to be pramanas. So we have a kaimuttika nyaya, a nyaya which kumyuta. When these fellows, these people who accept the Vedas themselves can't understand the truth through their philosophy, should we even talk about these idiots? That is why he says, pāṣaṇḍinaḥ sarve, all these hypocrites, these people who say something and do something, all these hypocrites, jñānavārtāsudurlabhāḥ, jñānavārtāsudurlabhāḥ, he said. Over. Jnana means knowledge, varta means news, sudurlabha, durlabha means difficult, sudurlabha means very difficult. They can't even have the news of knowledge. They don't even have the news of knowledge. They don't have any idea of knowledge. That's the thing. At least those fellows, they try to emulate what Vedanta said through their philosophy, but these people don't even know what knowledge is. This is the situation of the Charvaka, etc., all these philosophies which don't believe in the Vedas. And that is why in Sarvadarshana Sangraha, Vidyaranya Swami, Vidyaranya Bhagavan, he explains about this Charvakas. He says, Rinam krutva ghritam babet, bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. Take money, take loan, enjoy. Ghritam pibet means drink ghee. Means drink wine, enjoy your life. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya, once they burn you to ash, punaragamanam, where are you going to come back? Who is going to pay? You are not going to come back and pay. Forget about it. There is no law and order. That will become a problem. So they follow the law and order. That's a different thing. Anyway, think that is their philosophy. Now, Charvaka means materialistic philosophy. That is what we see in today's world. People, they have these loans and EMIs which they are stuck with. Who cares? That is the issue. Earlier, people used to worry about taking loans. Now, people don't care about taking loans. That's the easiest route they see. Right? So, jñānavārtāsudurlabhāḥ, they can't even imagine of knowledge. They have no news of knowledge, so they can't even imagine about knowledge. Okay, so what do you say? Second line talks about the philosophy. I'll come to that later. First, we'll see the line. Then I'll say what is the topic here. vedāntavijñānaṃ ekaṃ svānubhūtyā virājate. Ekaṃ vedāntavijñānaṃ svānubhūtyā virājate. This vedāntavijñāna, vijñāna svarūpa is the topic. Ekaṃ non-dual, one non-dual, vedāntavijñānaṃ, the vedāntavijñāna. See, earlier he says jñānavārtā, news of knowledge. Here he says vedāntavijñāna, not knowledge. Vijñāna. There is a difference in Vedanta. There is a difference between knowledge and jnana and vijñāna. Though generally we explain jnana to be vijñāna itself. Specifically, when we say jnana and vijñāna. I don't understand. Okay, let me say. Vedanta explains knowledge to be experiential. Knowledge and experience are not different. Knowing and being is not different. That is what Vedanta's position is. You know that this is pot. After knowing the pot, you don't have to meditate that to know that it is pot, to realize that it is pot. Right? Similarly, after knowing yourself, after knowing that it is rope, not snake, you don't have to go and meditate. So that is the position of Vedanta. Knowing and experiencing are same. Knowledge and experience are one and the same. But this knowledge and experience can be different in the sense of jnana and vijñāna. Jnana means knowledge. Vijñāna means experience knowledge. You just said knowledge and experience are not different. How can this be? Okay. Jnana is the word used for mediate knowledge. Paroksha jnana. And vijñāna is the word used for aparoksha jnana, immediate knowledge. Immediate knowledge is immediate experience. And there is no contradiction. Right? So, knowledge means a mediator. Vijñāna means immediate. That's the difference. So, ekaṃ, one non-dual, immediate experience of the Vedanta, of the non-dual self, svānubhūtyā, in its own experience, experiential nature, virājate, shines. Rajru deepto, from that virājate means it shines. Virājate is a word to say exist, stays. It stays in its own glory. How? See, in North India, when a person goes to another person's place, then they say, baitiye. To ask you to sit, baito, to sit. Okay. Now, if it is a Urdu mixed, then tashif rakhi and all that they'll say. Okay. But if it is Sanskritized Hindi, then like the sadhu speak, they'll say virajiye, not baitiye. They will not say baitiye, they'll say virajiye. Please have your seat. So, virājate means to be established, means to shine. Again, establishing and shine are not different. We already said knowledge and experience are not different, right? So, svānubhūtyā, in its own glory, it shines beautifully. Now, that is the state of nature of immediate knowledge. How do I get the immediate knowledge? That's the next question. So he says, ahaṃ mametyayaṃ bandho, mamāhaṃ neti muktatā, bandhamokṣau guṇairbhāto, guṇāḥ prakṛtisambhavāḥ. To understand how to gain that liberation, you have to understand what the problem is, bondages. If you are talking about a solution, you have to understand the problem perfectly. Without understanding problem, you cannot find the perfect solution. So, perfect solution needs a perfect understanding of the problem. So, what is the problem? Bondage. Because you are interested in liberation. So, bondage is the problem. What is bondage? And you have to understand that first. So, he says, ahaṃ mama iti ayam bandha. Bondage is ahaṃ, I, mama, mine, iti, ayam. This is what is bondage. Bondage is I and mine. The idea of I and mine is bondage. Wherever you see, the idea of I and mine causes pain. Wherever, in whichever. You identify yourself with that. You don't see it as mine. You see it as me. So, whatever happens to that happens to you. So, he says, ahaṃ mama iti ayam bandha. Bondage is the idea of the sense of I and me, mine. Okay, now what is liberation? Bondage is I and mine. What is liberation? Simple. Whatever is the opposite state is liberation, right? So, he says, ahaṃ mama na iti muktatā. Liberation is not I, not mine. I am not, mine not. That is liberation. So, I and mine, if I and mine are bondage, then no I, no mine is what is liberation. Okay. So, but why did this bondage and liberation come into existence? Because when there is no bondage, in reality, there is no liberation. That is what na bandhe na muktatā, like in Mandabhāgyā, etc. They say there is no bound, there is no mukti, etc. Now, what is this bondage? So he says, bandhamokṣau guṇairbhātah, the bondage and liberation to guṇairbhātah shines because of the qualities, the attributes, the three different qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan very clearly says, prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahaṃkara vimūಢātmā kartāham iti manyate. Prakritehe kriyamanani, whatever is performed by the prakriti. Prakriti means maya, the ignorance. Whatever is performed by the ignorance, which is a gunehi karmani, through the gunas, karmani, all the karmas, whatever you see, they are all performed or of the maya. But ahankara vimudhatma, not mudhatma. Mudha means idiot. Vimudhatma means special idiot, means filtered idiot. Ahankara vimudhatma, this egotistical filtered idiot, karta ahaṃ iti manyate, sees himself with the doer. He didn't do it, it is Maya's act, but he claims it to be mine. I did it. And that is why Bhagavan, very beautifully, it's like a maha mantra for me. He says, Prakṛtiṃ yānti ca bhūtāni nigraham kim karishyati. Prakṛtiṃ yānti bhūtāni, the Prakriti, the Maya leads the people. Nigraham kim karishyati, what will obstacle the you present will do. Mamāhaṃ Bhāshakara says, Bhagavan Bhāshakara says, mine or anyone's, whatever obstacle you put, like you say, okay, according to your horoscope, you should not go to the left side. Today, don't go to this floor. What will happen? I'll just go there, and if something happens, I'll just run away. He goes exactly to the question. Even if you want, he will just do that. Prakriti, Maya leads him. No one can stop them. No one can stop anyone. So, Prakṛtiṃ yānti bhūtāni. So, what is this? Guṇairbhātah. And that is why Bhagavan says in another place, Guna guneshu vartante. The gunas exist in gunas. Meaning, all that which is the effect of gunas is associated only with the causal gunas. The other effect of gunas. The sattva, rajas, tamas is the cause for all the creation. Sattva, rajas, tamas, the sense organ body. Sattva, rajas, tamas, the sense objects. The sattva, rajas, tamas, sense organ body is always associated with sattva, rajas, tamas, sense objects. I am not. One guna is associated with the other guna, not me. So that is the clarity. So he says, guṇāḥ prakṛtisambhavāḥ. These gunas, the sattva, rajas, tamas, which is the cause for the bondage and liberation, that those gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, are from the prakriti, from the maya, because maya is trigunātmika, that which has three qualities, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So he explains what that bondage and liberation is. Now, how to understand it? He says, jñānamekaṃ sadā bhāti sarvāvasthāsu nirmalam mandabhāgyā jānanti svarūpaṃ kevalaṃ bṛhat. Beautiful this. So he explained what the vijñāna is. Then for vijñāna, first we have to understand what the situation is we are in. So the bondage and liberation are explained. Now when the bondage is removed, that I am not, mine not. When you understand I not, mine not, then you gain the clarity. Because that is the act of prakriti, maya. You get rid of that prakriti, then there is nothing. When you understand the substratum rope, there is no possibility of any superimposition of snake. So he says, jñānamekaṃ sadā bhāti sarvāvasthāsu nirmalam mandabhāgyā na jānanti svarūpaṃ kevalaṃ bṛhat. Beautiful. Jnanam ekam nirmalam. Jnanam ekam nirmalam. This, if I want to rephrase it, I will normally do it as a ekam nirmalam jnanam. That's a beautiful way of saying, actually. Ekam nirmalam jnanam. One defectless, pure knowledge. One defectless knowledge. One pure knowledge. Mala means impurity. Nirmala means pure. I'll normally explain it as the self is one defectless knowledge. But I tend to use this jñānamekaṃ nirmalam, this kind of syntax. Jñānamekaṃ nirmalam. I love actually this. Why? Because this is exactly the reference which Vidyaranya Bhagavan uses in his Panchadashi. Samvideka rūpāna bhidyate, not once, 9-10 times he says, Samvideka rūpāna bhidyate, Samvideka rūpāna bhidyate, Samvideka rūpāna bhidyate. Samvid means knowledge. Eka rūpa of one form, na bhidyate, does not differ. Knowledge is of one form, does not differ. Now see, knowledge, one, nirmala means pure, means does not differ. What is mala? Maya is mala. Nirmala means without association with Maya, means there is no difference. Maya is the cause for difference. Therefore, ekaṃ, jñānam, ekaṃ, nirmalam means basically samvid ekarūpāna vidyate. And what samvid ekarupa vidyate? He said there is a jñānam ekaṃ nirmalam. Okay. So knowledge is one. Knowledge is one. How can knowledge be one? Why? Suddenly, why this doubt to you? You have been saying that until the clarity, you will be stuck with this gadabada. In Hindi, I told you gadpat means gadabada means problem. Gadabada. And ghatapata, if you are going to say fast, it will be gadbad. Now, ghatapata is ghata means pot, patta means cloth. Two knowledges. And other than this, I have so many other objects in front of me. So many knowledges. And you say, ekaṃ jñānam, one knowledge. How can that be possible? That's a valid doubt. But we have to understand, we are not talking about the knowledge per se. We are talking about the vijñāna. Vijñāna svarūpa is what we are dealing with. We are not talking about the knowledge of duality. This is a mediate knowledge. We are talking about the immediate experience, which is the nature of self. The self is of the nature of immediate experience. So, he says, jñānam ekaṃ nirmalam. But still, waking state, I see so many objects. Yes, you see so many objects. The seer is one. These objects are seen in the dream state, and the dream state objects are not seen in the world, are remembered in the world. In the world means in the waking state. The waking state objects are seen similarly, same or in a different way in dream state, and the objects which you saw in the dream are remembered in the wake state by the same person. Somebody saw it in dream. I can't remember somebody's dream. I can remember only my dream. So the dreamer is me, the waking person is me. Therefore, one knowledge in waking and dream state. I slept yesterday very nicely. Day first day, no. So, day first day, I didn't sleep, I know that. Yesterday, I slept, I know that. The knower of sleep is also me. So, the knower of waking state, the knower of dream state, the knower of sleep state is also me. The knower of samadhi is also me. I had a very nice samadhi today. Now, similarly, I went into a shock, into a coma, into a unconscious state. I know. That is also me. I, in the waking state, I, the dream state, I, in the sleep state, I, in the samadhi state, I, in the coma state, I, in the unconscious state. So, there is a constant reminder of I, and that is a sarvāvasthāsu sadā bhāti. That is the knowledge which is my inherent nature, sarvāvasthāsu. In all the states, sadā, always, bhāti shines. That knowledge shines in all the states of waking, dream, etc. Always. Never is there any escape from that knowledge, that self, that state, that not state actually, with reference to other state is state, that self. So he says, kevalaṃ bṛhat svarūpaṃ. What is that? What is that knowledge you are talking about? Kevalaṃ bṛhat svarūpaṃ. Kevalaṃ means sheep. That is one meaning. But here kevalaṃ means non-dual. Kevalaṃ means non-dual. Bṛhat means Brahman. Bṛhatvad, Brahmatvad, Brahman from the root word Brhividdho. That it is a omnipresent. So, that non-dual, omnipresent svarūpaṃ nature, that which is of the inherent nature of a non-dual omnipresence, knowledge. Anantam, jñānam said, anantam is also said. And that which exists in all the states is satyam. Satyam, jñānam, anantam. You have established the satyam, jñānam, anantam also here. So, mandabhāgyā. So, but wait. It exists in all the states? All the states. Experienced by me? Yes, it's of the nature of experience. You experience it always. If I understand this theoretically, I see the waking state, I see the dream state, I see the sleep state, I see that. But I don't really see that I. Yes, that's a very important point. So he's mandabhāgyā na jānanti. Why don't you see it? Because mandabhāgyā na jānanti. Manda, dull. Bhagya means luck. People with dull luck don't see. Na jānanti, don't know. That is how you have to interpret. If you put this mandabhāgyā na jānanti, the interpretation is the people with dull luck will not be able to see it, know it. But mandabhāgyā does not mean. In other places, like we have some strikes and all here in India for this NEET exam, entrance exam. Anywhere, when you have a exam problem, there is always a solution. Somebody is there to steal the question paper. That's a common thing. We have to understand that. Okay. Two, whenever there is I spoke about this also regarding the Ayodhya. Wherever there is money, there is one to steal that. This is the world. You cannot make it. They have brought in so many beautiful people there. Very nice. They are all very smart people. They are all very smart people. But there is always a smarter one. Because we know logic has no conclusion. We know that. They are going to find. Thieves are always a step ahead. They are going to find a method to break it, crack it. So all this halalubu about, oh, this is always, you are doing it yourself. So don't say it. You are not pure. Okay. So we have to, no one is. So we have to understand mandabhāgyā. Mandabhāgyā means not people with dull luck. Because why I said about this NEET or any other exam is people, like there are exams like this NEET exam is very tough exam. Like there is IITG, very tough exam for medical NEET, for engineering IIT G, joint entrance exam. Okay, and there for the accountants, there is chartered accountancy, there is exam. People work very hard for all this. I'm not belittling these students. They are working very hard, but not everybody is able to crack. So people who are not able to crack, they'll also add a rejoinder. They say, you also need luck for cracking this. Mandabhāgyā, does that mean mandabhāgyā? No. Bhagya here does not mean your luck. This has nothing to do with your luck. This is basically, bhagya here means your preparation. Deka and virājate, the prerequisites. People with dull prerequisites, na jānanti, don't know this, don't understand this. So, if you want to understand the self, this self, one non-dual, absolute, bṛhat, Brahman, then you have to have the proper prerequisites. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamadaḥ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.